Happy holidays. Welcome to our channel. If today is the first time you're visiting with us, we want to express to you a very warm welcome and invite you to watch any of our over 530 episodes that we have arranged for your convenience in playlists, as we are confident you're going to find something both useful and entertaining to watch. If you have been here before, welcome back. If today is your birthday, we want to wish you a very happy birthday. So today we're going to take scraps of wood like this and build nice Christmas gifts like this. So using only scraps, but even if we didn't use scraps, these are not very expensive pieces of wood, are they, Lo?
No, I think they were like $3 or $4 a board.
Exactly. So we're talking about making, and you can make multiple of these using one board. You don't even need one board, right?
Mm-hmm.
In fact, nothing we used was a full board.
Nope. It was really from scraps.
Absolutely. So this is obvious. This is just an iPad or a tablet holder. Very, very simple to use. And you can personalize it. We might do that if we give it for gifts, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for this build, we'll just show you how to build it. You can personalize it. And this is a very, very... We cannot really play anything to you because of copyright issues in YouTube, but we tested it and it really makes a huge difference, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it does definitely make a big difference in how loud, I mean, it definitely amplifies the sound.
So stick around and we're going to show you how to build this. One of the neat things about these projects is that you can create a number of variations. For example, on this, you can have two slots with different angles, right?
Mm-hmm.
We chose one because this is normal if you're going to watch movies or do FaceTime. This is a very comfortable viewing angle. And again, this is between 22, ours is 23 degrees, I think, but it's angle between 22 and 30 degrees. Otherwise, it will be too vertical. I mean, you don't want it like that. Or it will be too laid back. I mean, you don't want it like this.
Right. Yep.
So that is a good angle. One of the neat things is you need minimal tools. We did use a table saw for this, but it's not necessary. You can do it with chisels and a handsaw. And we did use a router for this, but you don't need that. I mean, that was, first of all, if you want this softer edge, you can do it using sandpaper.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not necessary. And if you want this, you can also use sandpaper, the softness in the speaker part, right?
Right.
Now, when I was looking around the soap, I was trying to find something to have contrasting bands here, and I totally forgot that I had this. So, but in our case, in case you don't, you can do what we did, and that is simply to stain one layer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that gives us a nice contrast and a very good look, I think, right?
Yep.
So let's into building and show you how you do those gifts.
And one other thing, if you wanted to, you could make another layer, right? So we have different layers of wood that we've pieced together here. You could put an additional layer if you wanted to, just to have some more contrast. There's lots of ways to vary it.
And you could make another speaker. So if you take this part
Mm-hmm.
and you double it, you'll need a greater length of wood, but you could do it. I mean, it is not.
Sure.
It's not a hard time.
The important part is to make a channel for the sound to go through the wood box and then out the speaker part.
Correct. And it is important that you have the smaller circle inside and the wider circle outside. And if you use more layers, you can make a wider speaker too.
Right.
All right, let's get building. So we have put our data stack at about a 29-degree angle. Anything between 22 and 30, I think, is a good viewable angle. Why I say angle like that? And we made sure that we are less than half of the thickness of the material. And now we're going to make a single pass. You ready?
Yep.
Let's remember to put the dust collection would have been better.
That would have been a lot better.
Why are you laughing?
Because you got snowed on.
And here we have a nice, what do you think? Nice groove for the device to rest.
Yep.
Okay, we go on. We are going to replace the data stack with a standard blade. So let us do that. And the reason I leave it like this is because it is just easier to keep the same angle without having to move the... We do have an angle, a digital angle finder, but because many people will not, this is an alternative way. It makes the cut a little more dangerous because we don't have the plate, right? Mm-hmm. But other than that, it should be okay. Now we'll see if we like that, and if we don't, we'll cut it straight, right?
Yep.
But you need a little width here because that supports the weight of the device. So we flipped our piece around, as you can see. So we have an angle looking like that. Again, if we decide we don't like the angle look, or if you decide you want it straight, we can put straight edges there, right?
Yep.
But we try, since this is a simple piece, we try to give it some visual interest by putting some angle in. Yes?
Yep.
So we'll try it this way and we'll go from there. If you remember, we cut a piece from here, and we're actually going to keep this piece and we're going to put it here to provide a little extra support and not add as much pressure on the device edge, right?
Right.
And makes it a little more interesting.
Yeah, and I like the, you know, the grain that you're going to be able to see.
Yep. And if you do not have a data stack, you can do it by making several passes through a thin blade, right?
Right.
Like we have shown you in the channel before, so it is not, it definitely makes it easier and quicker, but it is not a requirement to have a data stack.
So that's our base there.
Now, are we going to finish it, or? And do you want to leave it sharp, or should we use the router and route it?
I don't know about router.
You don't know about router?
I don't know about router, but I don't like it sharp. You know that.
Well, the router is what takes the sharpness away.
That's one of the ways.
It is the way. So this piece will be glued onto the base, and it really doesn't need to be extremely strong, but the glue will make it really, really strong. And we're using two pieces of tape that we are going to simply use as a clamp, right? Mm-hmm. For the gluing, we're going to use Titebond 2 as our glue, and be light with the glue. You want glue, but because you have a lot of surface here, you don't want it to be very heavy. All right. So the best way to know the distance, or not the distance, that you are flush is your finger, right?
Right, to feel it.
Because your finger actually can sense less than 1,000th of an inch gap or distance, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. So we're going to put the glue on the piece, and again, not huge. We want to avoid squeeze out if we can. A little glue goes a long way. Yeah, that's fine. And then we're going to make sure it is perfect. And you need to make side to side and middle perfect, right? And then bring one of the two pieces up, one of the pieces of tape, and try to put pressure on it as we do it. It's okay, you can overlap the tape. It is not a Christmas gift. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be pretty. It has to be secure, right? Now again, we chose to give it opposing angles here. Just a matter of preference. You can choose to leave it straight, right? You can also route it. In our case, we're not going to route it. We will, of course, because Mrs. Wizard is here, we will have to do a little bit of sanding. But other than that, if you decide to finish it, finish it. But the basic construction is over. This is a project that you can do in a few minutes if you're not recording. And you can do several of them if you want to give them as Christmas gifts or stuff of this nature, right?
Right.
You need to rotate the button so it will not lock again.
Oh, okay.
All right. So we need 3 pieces like that. Can you cut? You look very nervous when you're cutting. Do you want me to cut?
No, I'm not very nervous. You want to use
That?
this to
Yeah, same dimension.
same exact size?
Yeah. Using a small piece of scrap we found, and we need to make sure it is the right dimension. So okay, let's do that. All right, and we're going to need 2 of those that length, and we're going to do it on the miter saw. Unfortunately, I do not have any different pieces of wood in my scrap, so in order to create a little bit of contrast in the design, we are going to just stain one side of this thin piece. Again, this is the time to check your feet, and you need to make sure that your phone can slide in and out without difficulty. All right, for our next step, we are going to start this staining. Do a little bit of sanding now, because this is time to look at it and make sure that your connections are good without gaps. One of our pieces, and it is not visible in the camera, I'm sure.
It's a little rough.
It has a little edge, which is probably a thousandth of an inch. It's not big at all, but it is something that actually your eye will see when we make the connection.
There will be a gap.
So we're going to clear it, clean it. What is the right term?
Even it up.
And we're going to check that all our connections are nice and tight, and we're going to hit them with a little bit of sandpaper if they're not. That is an important step on this specific project because you want it to look good. So when you stain, the arrows that we put there to help us are the great way to know which side to stain. You only stain the area that the arrow points towards, which is the only visible piece of these little pieces of wood. I don't know what to call them. Peripherals.
Yeah, it's like
All right.
an edge piece. Okay. So we're going to do the outside here and then both ends that are going
Right.
to show.
Anything that is visible. But it's only one side in essence. Again, I would have preferred to have something that had a natural contrast, but we don't. So we're going to do the best we can with what we have, right? When you do contrast, it's always better to contrast a little bit of darker with a lot of white than the other way around. For some reason, it doesn't look as good when you have a white in a big black. Or dark. All right, and we hope that will give us a nice little contrast. You need to take some care here and find the exact center where you want to put your acoustic opening on both pieces. The center has to be identical because the 2 openings are going to be different size. Does it make sense? One will be bigger, the other will be smaller. So finding that center will be important in the quality of the sound that comes out of your device. And because it's important, I'm letting Ms. Wizard do it. This is a rare instance that measuring is kind of an important aspect here. So we're going to attempt to make our first hole here. Go. And here is our middle piece. Again, this is the larger hole, and in our case, is 2 inches and 1/8 because that is the bit that we use. Now you don't have to have this kind of beads. You can use keyhole beads or even paddle beads, whatever you have. Technically you could use even a jigsaw, but I think it will be harder to make a perfect circle with that, right? But anything that can give you a perfect circle will work. So now we have to do one more, and we're going to make that at a smaller diameter, and we're going to get back with you. Alright, and we use an OG bead to round over both pieces. Don't know if it is visible or not. This is a totally optional step. You don't have to do it. Maybe that will make it more.
Yeah, turn it around.
Does it make a difference?
Yep.
So you certainly can leave it that way. I don't think there is any harm to it. But this gives it a little more visual interest, if you wish, right?
Yep.
Now you end up with two pieces that have two circles that have to be of a different diameter. And then you align them. I don't know if it is visible or not.
Yep.
And this is what it's supposed to look. So we're going to start the assembly, and we're going to be right back with you. So we're starting the assembly now. We're going to use a little bit of glue and brad nails, just to add it slightly more strength and be able to finish it. Otherwise we have to wait for the glue to dry, which is very exciting but not my idea of fun.
Would probably help if it was completely open.
And you know, whenever you're recording, the simple things don't want to work.
Right.
Alright, now it works. And an idea here is make sure it is flush on the top, because you can always, if it is a little proud in the bottom and you prefer things to be proud, you can take care of that, right? I mean, you can address it. Alright, so you need to both hold it and... Either two brad nails, one on each end, or three, one on each and then in the middle. Again, take your time there to make sure that the piece is flat, and then brad nail it. Again, this is an optional step. We're using it because we need to finish so we can publish the video, right? So we have the back plate and the acoustic chamber built, and we want to make a couple of points. As you can see, the arrows we put in the beginning were very, very useful, not only for keeping us in correct orientation, but now when we put things together, it allows us to very easily avoid mistakes on when we're ready to put glue, right? What position it is, a very good tip. Use those arrows, always useful. And nice detail I want to show you, when you put your phone here, and that will be different from phone to phone. As you see there, we have put a screw that's in the middle of the piece of wood there that you can reach from the top, which will allow you to fine-tune the acoustic, the passive acoustic amplifier by changing how high or low the phone is, right? And in our case, because the iPhone has two speakers, it also allows the sound of both speakers to work. One of the things you can also do, it will be double the size, but you could have chambers right and left. We chose not to do that, but that's something that you can very easily do. You're going to follow exactly the same processes, but you will have a mirror. In any case, that is a nice detail that will allow you, again, by changes the distance between the phone and the speakers and the surface, will allow you to be able to change the position, right?
Yep.
If you make another position, you need to something solid here, so the two sides will go on each, it will not mix, right?
Right.
Alright, so now we're going to have to put the middle piece on top, and we're going to use again, is that the middle?
Yeah.
And we're going to again use the glue and some brads, and the top we'll just use glue.
We're gonna make a wood sandwich.
Yeah, a wood sandwich. A sandwich. We hope you did enjoy this episode of the Urban Homesteading Channel, Christmas Gifts Editions from Scraps. We did enjoy building them, and we have people in mind to give those gifts. And we might build more and do other variations. An easy example is that you could take this stand, cut it in half, and you will have a very nice cell phone holder, right? I mean,
right?
You don't need it this wide, but as you can see, it works very nicely. Or again, you can make several of those, and if you batch them, really they will not take much time at all. These are not, definitely you can make 5 or 6 of those in an afternoon, don't you think?
Yeah, you do an assembly line process.
Right, and the dimensions, there are very few cuts. These are the same dimension, so you can cut them all at once. And you can use, I think we said it already, but you can use Forstner beads like we did, or you can use hole cutting beads, or you can use paddle beads to easily do it. So this is not really very heavy, expensive equipment that you will need to use it. So what do you think? You like the way they came up?
I do, and I think if I was making one for myself, I probably would put another channel for the phone, you know, just for stand-up purposes, so you could use it for either one, you know, because it's also a safe place to keep it when you're not actually viewing it.
And you technically you could make an opening there and even have it on a charger.
Right.
If you wanted to have it like this. When it is like this, of course, you can charge it, and it is no issue because the charger is on the side. Now you can use your imagination. Again, we're thinking to put some decoration here, maybe a stencil.
Yep.
And definitely there's space here. And in your idea of stacking, we could stack this higher too. We can make another piece, right?
Yep.
And go higher and higher.
And it wouldn't take a lot more wood.
No, it is really an easy project. These are designed to be a very simple, straightforward project that anyone can do. But both of those projects are very easy to do, and we hope you enjoyed them. Let us know, and if you did, we would love a thumbs up. And if you have not subscribed, please subscribe. Let us know what else you would like to see in the channel in the coming episodes. From Dr. Wizard, Mrs. Wizard, and the Urban Homesteading channel, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, boy we need it. Stay safe, wash your hands, put your masks on, and we're going to see you soon with more episodes. Farewell friends, happy holidays.